Hey there, welcome to a special bonus episode of the Backyard Bouquet podcast. I've been going live on Instagram with some of the speakers from the Profitable Dahlia Summit, and the conversations have been so good that I didn't want our podcast community to miss out. These are short, casual chats that we had on Instagram where we get to know our speakers and hear a little bit about what they'll be teaching at the Profitable Dahlia Summit. I wanted to make sure you got to be part of these conversations too, even if you missed them live on Instagram. The Profitable Dahlia Summit is happening March 3rd through 4th with a bonus session on March 5th to help you pull everything together. If you want to learn from these amazing speakers and join hundreds of other dahlia growers who are focused on making their dahlias profitable, you can grab your ticket at the link in today's show notes. Tickets start at $99. All right, here's the replay. Good morning. Thanks for joining. We are going live today with Marryn. Hello.
Good morning. Sorry, I'm a little close.
That's all right. I am too. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. For everyone that is joining and maybe doesn't know us, I'm Jennifer of the Flowering Farmhouse, and this is Maren Mathis from the Farmhouse Flower Farm. Our Instagram handles are quite similar. We're here today because the Profitable Dahlia Summit is happening in 2 weeks, and you are one of our speakers.
Yeah.
I'm so excited that you are joining us, and you are talking about how to host a successful dahlia tuber sale, which I couldn't think of anyone better than you to host that session. You are in the midst of dividing thousands of tubers?
We are. Good thing this is from the videos from like the top up because the top below. But no, we are knee deep in dividing tubers right now. So it's go time.
Yeah. Does that mean there's a tuber sale coming up sometime in the near future?
There is a tuber sale coming very, very soon. So I'll be announcing that to newsletter subscribers this week. But yes, it's coming soon. It's happening.
That's awesome. So if someone wanted to join your email list, is there a link in your bio?
Yeah, there's a link in our bio to our website, and then you can sign up for our newsletter right there on the homepage.
Awesome. I know I'm on your newsletter, and I get ready every year for your tuber sale. It's one of my favorites. How many varieties do you have in your tuber sale this year?
In our tuber sale, as of right now, there's almost 300.
Wow.
Yeah, almost 300. So every Saturday I add a different batch so that people can kind of see our progress as we've divided through the week. So any new varieties that we've divided during the week will be added on Saturday morning so that you can kind of see the rainbow grow as we're dividing and going through the process. So it's really fun. People really like it.
I'm so curious, how did you get started with putting your dahlias in a rainbow order?
I'm very visual and I love color order. That's kind of my love language. So I do everything in color order. The only time that I do anything in alphabetical order is actually when I'm shipping varieties, because anybody that's helping me with the shipping process, they obviously don't know what color things are. But when I'm anything in my field, I really try to plant in color order just because I find it's very, it's very visually appealing to me, like calming almost. I just love the way that it's laid out in rainbow order. So I do all of our sweet peas that way, all of our dahlias that way. And so then it just translated into the website as well.
It's so easy to shop your website because of that. And I've followed your idea on my field, and it makes it so much easier now. Instead of planting by height or form when I'm harvesting for florist orders, it's like I can go down an entire section and get everything I need that's in that color palette instead of walking from the first row to the 20th row and back and forth. It's so helpful.
There's so many different ways to do it, right? So like if you're hybridizing, it makes sense for people to plant like water lilies together or ball varieties together. But when you just have, a big field and you're harvesting for, florist orders or weddings or whatever it is, and it's also when they're planted right next to each other, it's easier for harvesting, but it's also easier to compare them against each other. Like, which one do I like better? When I'm bringing in a new variety and they're classifying it as, coral or raspberry or orange or whatever color it is, how does it compare to my other favorites and stuff like that? So I really like to compare the different colors against each other.
I love it. You're so organized.
Well, I'm one of the lucky ones that have also gotten to see your shipping process. And I have to say that I was blown away because you are so organized. And there's a reason why you are so successful with your tuber sales, because you have everything so
Oh,
systematized.
thank you. Yeah, it's taken a lot of work to get there, but it's when you have a good system in place and you have great processes behind it all, it makes it go so much smoother in the long run versus just having everything scattered, and it takes us a few days to get everything set and ready, but in the long run it's time well spent for sure.
Totally. This last year with my seedlings, my second to fourth year seedlings, I was so late in planting everything that I was kind of like, okay, screw the order. And I
Yeah.
just planted them. And I had 4 rows of them, 400-foot rows. And I'm having to walk back and forth. And I've got a red one here and then a white
Yeah.
one and then a pink. And it took me so much more time over the
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, seedlings are fun though because with as their genetics kind of change over the years, from first to third year or whatever, it's really nice to, like I said, to have them in color order so that you are, seeing how things change. Where it could be, a light lilac the first season and you just absolutely love it, and then let's say the next season it turns a little bit darker and it blows its center right away. So I love that about growing dahlias, just how observant and just taking your time, slowing down, like really looking at the flowers, what traits you're looking for in hybridizing, and just how all of them are so beautiful in their own way and they're all so different.
Totally. How long have you been growing dahlias?
Oh wow. Since 2018. That was my first season. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So you just went all in because you
Oh,
became a
I went all in.
of that.
Yeah, I went all in. We started with 150 and now we grow over 8,000. So yeah, I went all in.
I guess that shows how quickly things can multiply.
Oh, for sure. I think dahlias should come with a warning label, like it's an addiction. For sure. For sure.
The best kind of addiction.
The best kind of addiction. Yeah.
But I think part of that is because they multiply so easily,
Mm-hmm.
which is why so many people are trying to sell their tubers now.
Yeah, there's so many people out there trying to sell tubers, and I think that's why this summit is so great. What you're doing, Jen, is that it's showcasing dahlias in so many different ways where you can be profitable off of flowers that are growing in your own garden. And with tuber sales specifically, I think a lot of people go into them thinking I can make a ton of money, and yes, the money is good with them, but there's also so much that goes on behind the scenes to run a successful sale and all those pieces that need to be in place before you can market your tubers. And so that's what we're going to talk about during my session here in a few weeks, about just all the things that you need to consider when you're trying to turn those tubers into profit.
I cannot wait because I know when we had to move fields, I had to make the decision to scale back my tuber sales because I wasn't going to be shipping dahlia tubers from my kitchen counter,
Right.
because I no longer had a shipping spot. So I had to pivot and start, not producing, but selling my dahlias creatively. I was selling potted plants. I was selling more flowers locally. And I found a way to make it profitable outside of just the tuber sales.
Right.
I think
Well,
so many people.
And you can go into it, like, let's say with 150 tubers, like that's not enough for me to do a tuber sale. And even the second year, I was like, I think quantities are a very important thing to talk about, not having, 1, 2, or 3 tubers to sell, but thinking like quantity wise, just because, the larger farms, larger quantities, those are, they're not going to sell out as quickly as, those unicorns. So for me, with our following, it's really important for me to have a certain number that I'm able to sell before I even offer it for sale, just because I don't want, all of my customers fighting over, let's say 20 tubers. It has to be a lot more than that for me to offer it for sale. So also there's all sorts of different, I could deep dive into it right now, but
I know, we gotta save it.
But there's just so many things to think about, when you're getting into tuber sales.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, going back to your session at the summit, what do you hope people walk away knowing from your session?
I hope they walk away feeling more confident about doing a tuber sale, knowing the, things that need to be in place in order to have a successful tuber sale, just all of the things that they might have not thought about. When hosting a tuber sale, the difference between on-farm sales, live, website sales, photographs, like just all the things that, you need to think about during the season. There's no flower that we work harder for than dahlias. And if I broke it down as to how many times I touch not only the plants, but the flowers and just all the things that are, part of the process. I mean, it takes a year to produce tubers. And I would say in order to do a successful dahlia tuber sale, probably 2 or 3, to be honest with you. I didn't start selling my tubers until 2020 or 2021? But it was a couple years in. So it's quite an investment, but there's also ways that you can make money off of them, I guess, from the very beginning. So you can, start with your initial stock and, maybe go cut flowers for the first, couple years until you actually really build up your stock. And then after that, then, dive into tuber sales. But, we're talking like sterilization, processes and, shipping processes and packaging and, just dividing and marketing and all the things, yeah, it's
overwhelming.
It's very overwhelming. Yeah. Can you tell I'm like knee deep in it right now? But, it's like you've got to be thinking of these things as the season is going on and as, your flowers are blooming, and how are you going to market them? How are you going to showcase the beauty of them, or, the growing shots, the field shots, handfuls, like just all of the things. So there's a lot to think about. It's not just, digging up a tuber, cutting it into pieces and, putting it into bags and selling it. There's just a lot of different things that you need to think about when doing dahlia tuber sales.
Absolutely. My head's just spinning just listening to that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got so much to do. I've been so knee deep in the summit that I've divided maybe 1/10 of my tubers, and I still have most to wash and divide. And I'll be doing that probably well after your tuber sale has already taken place this year.
Yeah, we've got like all different stages. We've got tubers that need to be washed. We've got tubers that have been washed that need to be divided. We've got tubers that have been divided that need to be, I need to go through and quality check everything and then count everything and inventory everything. And then we've got the tubers that are done. So, we've got all the different stages right now, but it's totally worth it. Honestly, just being able to share little pieces, I look at each tuber as a little piece of our flower farming dream that I get to share with, other people, across the whole entire country. And it's pretty awesome just to see, our hard work turn into something that people are going to, just really enjoy.
Absolutely. And I love that you have such a big heart that you are not just sharing your flowers with the world, but you're sharing your knowledge. You're coming to this summit. You're taking time today instead of dividing dahlias right now to talk to us about this. So I'm so grateful. And I'm curious, Maren, outside of your session, is there a session that you're looking forward to attending at the summit?
All of it, honestly. I think, you're constantly learning, you're constantly growing. There's every season is different, and you never know everything, right? Like you're constantly learning. And so I'm just really interested to hear the different speakers and just what they have to say, and knowing how we do things, and there might be a different way to do things and different things that we can try along the way as well. So I'm excited for all of it. I think it's going to be great.
Absolutely. I was talking with Julio Freitas from the Flower, who's also going to be speaking. And he's like, Jen, do you realize there's over 100 years or different years of growing experience coming into this summit? Because every year is a different season, and we have different lessons that we're learning every year. So we have over 100 years of experience going into this summit, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think honestly, people are going to get so much out of all the sessions. And I think, just as a collection of, there's so much to learn from Dahlias, and there's so much, that we can gain from just, listening to others, enjoying others, company, and really coming together over our love of flowers is pretty awesome. So I'm excited for everybody. I think you've got a great lineup. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. And yeah, get your tickets, you guys.
Yes, Well, there's a link in both of our bios. So if anyone wants to join us, the summit is happening March 3rd through 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And then on March 5th, I'm hosting a bonus session from 9 to 10:30 a.m. where I'm going to be taking notes throughout the whole session and recapping everything on Thursday morning with actionable steps to help people with the worksheet to put the whole session together so that you can choose one or two things that you learn and really focus on those this year so that you can set yourself up for success and get your money's worth out of the summit. Our live tickets start at $99 and all access is $199, which includes the lifetime replays of the summit as well as speaker bonuses. And before we wrap up, Maren, we need to get back to dividing Dahlia. I've got a lightning round of questions that I'm asking all Dahlia growers or all speakers real fast.
Okay.
So what is your favorite Dahlia variety this year?
Oh, goodness.
It's like picking a favorite child.
It is. Well, and people ask me about a favorite sweet pea, and I can never pick a favorite. There's so many good ones. I loved Peachy Parade this year. That was one of my favorites. Rivers Cantaloupe is a stunner. I'm geared towards the oranges and the peaches. Bloomquist Pleasing, I love that one. Bloomquist Sue. Cafe is always a favorite. I know some people are like, she's a diva, but I absolutely love Cafe. Farmer Finn, I gotta say Farmer Finn, one of my favorites. There's so many good ones, Jen. Like, honestly, it just really depends on my mood too. Like, sometimes I'll go out into the garden and, one of my favorites is going out to the garden and just not even having a color palette to cut for and just what is really speaking to me in that moment. But yeah, those are some of my favorites from this past season.
Well, I just woke up Marin's Farmer's Finn.
Oh, yay!
Farmer's Finn, I said that wrong. Sorry. I just had one because you have to limit one on this.
I know.
And my florist absolutely loved that one.
Oh,
so,
good.
Yeah,
it was a blue ribbon winner this year, so it's going to be officially in the ADS. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, it's created some sibling rivalry because Maverick's now picked out his Dahlia seedling, and so Finn was kind of ribbing him a little bit when he was walking through the seedling patch. He's like, "Make sure it's a ribbon winner."
I love it.
It was fun.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I know the answer to this, but I don't know if everyone listening does. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Yeah, I'm living on like 4 cups of coffee a day right now, and I'm sure you are too.
Yeah.
Most chaotic Dahlia moment you've ever had?
Oh, wow. Most chaotic Dahlia moment. Oh, okay. Oh man, how many years ago was that? It was like 3 years ago, and we were having a ton of rain and we had standing water in the field, and I literally had clumps that were submerged in water. So that was probably the most chaotic. It was funny because, well, it wasn't funny, but at the moment it wasn't funny, but looking back, because it was Cafe. And so I was like, God save the queen. I was like, gotta save the queen. So, but yeah, it was having clumps underwater. It's so stressful. It's so stressful getting those guys out. But yeah, I would have to say that was my most chaotic Dahlia moment.
That would definitely make me fearful.
Yeah.
I've had some seedlings in the ground and we've barely gone below freezing. So I was like, oh, they'll be fine. And we're on a hill. But I have an area where there's obviously standing water. And so the ones that I'm digging up that were under the standing water, and it's just a few, so things happen, but they are totally rotted.
Oh, that's
just
a
too much
bummer.
water. So it's so stressful.
It's so stressful. And, especially when you've got such a big field and you're trying to get everything out. And, at that time of the season where, the weather's turning and just there's so many elements that, come into play that it's just, it's all, honestly, it is. I'm absolutely, let's see. I mean, my family runs on like crock pot dinners, frozen pizzas, and just like all the easy stuff when we're digging the field. Cause I'm literally out there from the time the sun is up until the sun, after it goes down. Like I'm not digging after dark, but getting everything in and getting it into the cooler and, tucked in and stuff. It's, headlights on the tractor and all the things. So yeah, it's a stressful time. It's
a true labor of love.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. It's a labor of love.
So that leads me to my next question. Tuber sale, love it or dread it?
Both. Both. honestly, it's so stressful for everyone involved. It's stressful for the seller because, you're thinking of all the things that, are happening behind the scenes and shipping costs and website stuff and just all of the little technicalities. And then that you've got so many people that are, wanting it and waiting on the website. And, I honestly, I can't even touch my computer when our sales go live because I'm literally shaking so badly. Like the last 10 minutes before our sale goes live, I can't explain the feeling. And then when you have a great sale, it's, euphoria. And then it goes into, I allow myself to actually, just kind of sit and enjoy if it's successful. And then, you go into getting ready for shipping and, making sure everything's packaged and just, all of the things. So it's kind of like a roller coaster, really. But it's not only stressful for everybody that's out there that's, made their lists and they want these unicorns and, everybody's, fighting against the same varieties. But at the same time, it's really stressful for the seller also. So, yeah. So both. I can't say love it or dread it. It's both because you've worked so hard to, supply a product and you absolutely love these flowers and you love sharing them with people. But at the same time, like I said, it's just all the stress that's involved with on the back end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Last lightning question. Favorite tool or farming hack?
Oh man.
You have a good tool for dividing dahlias?
Snips, obviously. I have probably 10 or 15 pairs on my bench right now. I use the ARS 45s. But favorite tool? Really, well, it's a mason jar with bleach water and good snips right now. I'm like seeing eyes in my sleep, sterilizing everything, sterilizing between clumps, sterilizing between, varieties, like all the things. So I think honestly, just good snips and, just making sure you sterilize.
Old clothes that can handle bleach stains.
Yes, exactly. Like there's nothing cute about dividing at all. It's about staying warm and you're going to be filthy dirty. And I don't match. I don't, I'm literally in there with, my beanie on. I've got a sweatshirt, hooded sweatshirt with my hood pulled up over it. I've got a flannel over. So it's not pretty work, but it's necessary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Marryn, thanks so much for joining me for this live.
Yeah.
And for those of you that joined us, if you want to go deeper with Maren or our other speakers at the Profitable Dahlia Summit, we'd love for you to join us March 3rd through 4th, the bonus day on the 5th. And you can visit the link in either of our bios to grab more information or tickets. And we hope to see you there. Good luck dividing your dahlias, and we'll see you at the summit.
Yeah, we'll see you. Thank you so much for having me. And
Thanks, Maren. Bye, everyone.
Bye.